and welcome. You're with Center Stage. I'm Rahul Kamal. The financial meltdown is headed homewards. Your property investment and the huge EMIs you pay for it could be in grave danger. Over the past few days, Headlines Today has been speaking to insiders in the country's real estate market. And the picture that emerges is a very worrying one. We've been trying to determine the impact of the financial meltdown on the country's real estate sector. Because of the meltdown, buyers have almost completely stopped purchasing property. As a result, projections of builders have taken a huge hit. They're literally running out of cash, or at least some of them. This is impacting completion deadlines, and builders are not being able to deliver as promised. Buyers, meanwhile, are furious. Even after paying all the hefty EMIs, they are not able to move into their swanky new houses. Builders have now started cutting prices of property. Some builders, though, are still holding out. But in other cases, there have been cuts going up to almost as much as 50%. The house that you paid a bomb for could soon be worth much lesser than all the hard-earned money you've shelled out for it. We'll be talking about what really should you do in this situation over the next half hour. We'll be joined by some of the country's leading builders and real estate experts. So what really should you do in this situation? How safe is your property investment? Over the next half hour, we will be joined by some of the country's leading builders cutting across the pricing spectrum, and we'll ask them what happens from here. Joining us now, we have Raheja. He's the Chairman and Managing Director of Raheja Properties. We also have with us Pradeep Jain. He's the Chairman of Parswanath Properties. We'll have Anshuman Magazine, the Managing Director of CB Richard Ellis, and we'll have Amit Jain, the Vice President Marketing for BPTP Limited. Let me begin by asking you, Mr. Raheja, about this crisis of confidence that seems to be crippling the real estate sector. From your perspective, how bad is the situation currently?
I would personally look at it that this is just crisis of confidence. Actually, the property demand has not gone down. Property, whether residential or whether commercial, is a basic requirement. We principally call it roti kapda makan. So the demand of housing remains, and it will remain. The only problem is because globally, if you see everywhere, there is a crisis of confidence, whether it is stocks, whether it is even the gold, which is the most dependable commodity, even that is not fetching the correct price as on today. So property investment is also being watched by the prospective buyers as on today. But let me tell you, if you go back last 6 months, I think whatever maximum correction was to take place in the market, it has already taken place.
All right. Anshuman Magazine, from a pan-industry perspective, what do you see?
To catch the bottom in this bucket,
All right, Naveen, Raheja, what we've seen happen with a lot of people is they paid a lot of money over a couple of years waiting for their dream house. They now find that the builder is not able to deliver on time. Their house is not ready to move into. They've paid the money, they're not getting their house, especially with some of the smaller players. How big a problem do you think that will be over the next few months?
Let me tell one very basic fundamental thing which a developer has to take care of. The demand for property had always been there, it is today also. The only thing is that if you make something which has value for money, which has a justification for the price line, and which meets the particular segment, the demand is there and the buyers are also there. The only problem where it is there is where people, developers, mindlessly jacked up the prices for higher valuations, and the prices went beyond the affordability of the actual user. They were being purchased and sold, but they were largely based upon a speculation and investor-driven market.
How much of a percentage of the total market do you think that is, the role of the speculator?
I look at it last 3 years, the speculators had been majorly playing the role.
And as a result, common people are having to suffer now.
As a result of that, the common people did suffer. Now the problem of no sales is only with those developers who increase the prices based upon speculators.
Anshuman, the benchmark. Naveen, before we end our show, we want to get a quick word in from our panelists. A lot of young people across the country, young couples have spent lakhs of hard-earned money in the market. They're now very, very worried. Several of them watching the show wondering what should they do. Cross your heart and tell us what's the honest advice you can give them.
The honest advice from me will be that the demand for property is today also there. We are selling better than last year even today, but customer is buying value